In a tight-knit community where whispers carry weight, a father faces an unimaginable fight, his quiet despair echoing through the walls of an ordinary diner. When a powerful figure takes notice, will the solace of anonymity crumble under the pressure of newfound attention? What price must be paid for hope? In the heart of a small town in Michigan, where the air was often thick with the aroma of freshly brewed coffee and sizzling bacon, the local diner stood as a sanctuary for its weary patrons. Sunlight poured through the large front windows, casting a warm glow over the checkered tables and worn leather booths. Laughter and the clinking of silverware mingled with the soft hum of conversation, creating a familiar tapestry of community life. Yet beneath the jovial facade, unspoken worries lingered in the corners, like shadows that refused to fade. At one such table sat Derek, a single father in his late 40s. His rugged features bore the marks of hardship, a testament to countless nights spent tossing and turning, consumed by the weight of terminal cancer. Despite the fatigue etched upon his brow, his deep blue eyes sparkled with love and determination as they rested on his 10-year-old daughter, Emma. With her wild curls and infectious laughter, Emma was the light in Derek's dim world, blissfully unaware of the gravity of her father's illness. He strove to protect her innocence, using every ounce of strength he had left. Mrs. Peterson, their elderly neighbor, sat nearby, knitting while casting gentle, concerned glances at Derek. She often took on the role of surrogate grandmother, stepping in to watch Emma whenever Derek found himself too weak to keep up. Across the diner, Gary, the diner owner and a father figure to Derek, wiped tables and shared hopeful words. But even he struggled to mask his own financial stresses. Within this vibrant yet troubled setting, the trigger for conflict loomed just beyond the horizon, waiting to reshape their lives forever. The chatter in the diner buzzed like a swarm of bees, the warm air thick with the scent of frying bacon and freshly brewed coffee. Sunlight filtered through the worn curtains, casting golden streaks across the mottled linoleum floor, illuminating faces aged by the weight of small-town life. Derek glanced around, spotting familiar party hats from yesterday's birthday celebration left on a nearby table, remnants of laughter echoing through the room. He leaned back against the counter, his brow heavy with concern. The medical bills had begun to pile up, and each day seemed like another reminder of his waning strength. "You look like you could fight a bear," teased Gary, the gruff owner of the diner, wiping his hands on his apron. Derek forced a smile, the playful banter a thin veil over the storm brewing within him. Just as he took a sip of lukewarm coffee, a notification pinged on his phone. A media outlet sought him out for his story, hoping to highlight his journey as a symbol of resilience. Derek's heart raced, anxiety intertwining with a flicker of hope. "A hero? Me?" he murmured, glancing at Gary, whose eyes sparked with something resembling inspiration, but carried an undertone of skepticism. Little did he know, that call would soon attract unexpected attention, not just from the local community, but from the highest echelons of society. The phone call from the media outlet had stirred a whirlwind of emotions within Derek, and the reality of his new circumstances crashed over him like a wave. Moments later, seated at the diner, the chatter felt different, charged with a newfound intensity. Gary flipped pancakes mechanically, glancing at Derek from time to time, the pride in his eyes mingling with something like envy. Derek could almost feel the weight of expectation pressing down on him, a reminder that he was now seen as a symbol, not just a man. "People are talking about you, Derek," Gary finally said, slapping a plate of food down with an unusual force. "It's great, right? But don't you think it's a bit much?" His voice was low, almost conspiratorial. "What do you mean?" Derek frowned, pushing his eggs around the plate. "Just, I don't know. It's like you've got this whole town on your back. What if you fail? What if you're not the hero they want?" The sting of Gary's words burrowed into Derek's mind. He was acutely aware of the whispers behind his back, the debates on social media. Some called him a hero, while others labeled him needy, suggesting he could never rise to the occasion. "I'm just trying to do what's best for Emma," Derek responded defensively, his grip tightening on the fork. "I didn't ask for any of this attention." "I know, but you have a lot of people looking up to you now. They're going to expect something bigger than life," Gary countered, his own frustrations spilling over. Derek's heart raced. The casual, supportive vibe of the diner felt heavier, as if it were suffocating him, squeezing out the hope he clung to. I'm not trying to be bigger than life, Gary. I just want to be a dad. What if you can't? What then? Gary's words were a gauntlet thrown down, echoing Derek's own fears. Derek stared at the flickering light of the diner's neon sign through the rain-streaked window, lost in the chaos of his thoughts. As the clatter of dishes and the hum of conversation swirled around him, an ominous heaviness settled in his chest. The enthusiastic media coverage, initially a relief, had morphed into an unbearable weight. Now he felt like a trophy rather than a man fighting for his life. The phone rang on the table, jolting him from his spiraling doubts. Mrs. Peterson answered before he could lift a finger. "Derek, it's for you. It's that reporter again." Her voice edged with concern. Reluctantly, he took the receiver, bracing himself for another round of questions that felt more like interrogations. "Derek, we want you to speak at the upcoming rally with Trump. This is a chance to provide hope to those affected by hardship," the reporter enthused. Beneath the excitement, Derek heard the underlying demand. He needed to be the embodiment of resilience, a martyr of sorts, and he didn't know if he could live up to it. "Hope?" he murmured into the phone. "What if I can't deliver it? What if I fail in front of everyone?" "Failure is not an option, Derek. Your story is inspiring," came the sharp reply, each word slicing through his mounting anxiety. After the call, Derek looked at Gary, who had been silent until now. The diner's owner leaned against the counter, eyebrows knitted in frustration. "They're turning you into a spectacle. You're more than a story for them," he said, his words barely hiding a simmering resentment. "Try telling that to everyone who's counting on me," Derek fired back, heat rising in his voice. The tension thickened, leaving both men in a standoff that felt as unmovable as Derek's diagnosis itself. Amidst the brewing conflict, Derek's thoughts consumed him. What if I truly am a disappointment? Not just to myself, but to Emma and everyone watching. He clenched his fists, dreading the upcoming rally. With every tick of the clock, the pressure grew. Could he summon the courage to face the crowd and speak his truth? Derek stood on the makeshift stage, the roar of the crowd becoming a wave crashing against his insecurities. He could see Emma's bright eyes from the front row, her hands waving in encouragement, a beacon of hope amidst the sea of faces, some adoring, others skeptical. He felt a storm swirling inside him, an unrelenting pressure that threatened to drown him. "I'm not a hero," he began, his voice shaking. "I'm just a father trying to keep my little girl safe." A ripple of whispers moved through the audience, some nodding their heads, others crossing their arms, waiting for the punchline of this political spectacle. Derek clenched his fists and pressed on. "I've tried to hide my fear, but it's been eating away at me. So many of you have reached out, shared your stories, yet I still feel alone." Suddenly he saw Gary standing near the back, arms crossed tightly over his chest, his expression guarded. Derek's heart ached for the man who had always been his champion, now caught in the shadows of envy. "I know I'm not the only one facing insurmountable odds," he said, scanning the crowd. "Every day, countless fathers fight to provide for their families, and I don't want to just tell my story. I want us to stand together." The crowd erupted in applause, some tears glistening in the eyes of men whose faces had hardened under the weight of their own struggles. Derek felt a rush of heat as clarity struck him like a lightning bolt. It was never about him, nor the fame or financial support. It was about the connections, the solidarity that transcended individual battles. As Trump joined him, there was a newfound understanding. "Together," Trump said, placing a hand on Derek's shoulder, "we'll fight for the recognition that every father deserves." That simple gesture ignited Derek's spirit, pushing him beyond his fears, marking the pivotal moment he would choose vulnerability over isolation. A chorus of voices united under a banner of shared struggle swept through the air, transforming personal grief into a movement of hope. Derek sat on the porch, watching Emma play in the yard, her laughter ringing through the air like a melody of hope. The rally had changed everything. The community rallied around him, offering not just financial support, but a profound sense of togetherness. Derek felt lighter, having transformed from a man burdened with fear to a beacon of strength for others like him. He had started a support group for single fathers, embracing vulnerability as a strength rather than a weakness, educating them on navigating financial and emotional challenges. Mrs. Peterson waved from the garden, reminding him that he was never truly alone. "You did it, Derek," she called, her eyes sparkling with pride. Derek returned her smile, gratitude swelling in his chest. As they watched the sunset together, Derek realized that in sharing his journey, he cultivated empathy and understanding within their small town. Together, they could face any Goliath, united in their struggles and empowered by love.